Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining. Sunil here. Can you hear me? Please confirm in the chat box. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for joining the session. Thank you for your interest and curiosity. I'm getting a lot of responses in my WhatsApp. Thank you very much. Okay. So let's stop the chat so that we can focus on the today's session. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Vignesh. So thank you one and all. So what's a plan for our today's session? So in the last session, I hope you remember what did we discussed in the last session. We have learned how to create our own virtual machines. In the last session, we have learned how to create our own virtual machines on AWS cloud. Am I right? Isn't it? So we have learned how to create our own Windows machine on AWS cloud. In AWS data center, we have learned how to create a Windows machine, not just creating a Windows machine. Not just creating a Windows machine, we have seen how can we connect to that remote machine somewhere running in Mumbai location from your personal laptop. Not just creating the machine, you should be comfortable connecting to that machine and using the machine as per the requirement. So you can connect to the Windows machine using an application called as remote desktop connection. Agree? Isn't it? Yesterday we have seen this application called. Yesterday we have discussed about this application called as remote desktop connection. Using this remote desktop connection, we have learned how can we successfully connect it to a Windows machine. And one important point, this is very important. That's the reason I'm quickly repeating it. You can successfully connect to a machine. You can successfully connect it to a remote machine only when you're right. You can successfully connect to a machine only when port is open. You're right. Yes, port is open. So Windows machine, we have opened RDP port. I hope you remember we have seen how to create a Linux machine and when how to create a Windows machine. It's a step-by-step process. We have opened the port so that you are able to successfully connect it. Okay. So this is what we have discussed in the last session. So this session, this time, let's learn how can we create a Linux machine. Understanding the applications called puttygen and putty. What is puttygen? What is putty? How can we connect to that Linux machine? What is a web server? We are getting more details into the practicals. We'll learn how can we install a web package. We'll discuss more about security group. This is our plan for our today's session. Today's session is very, very important session. Okay. Before getting into today's session, let's have a quick discussion with some of the participants who have raised their hands. Obviously, we cannot discuss with all the participants. So let's randomly pick up some of the participants and let's have a discussion. Fayaz Khan, good morning. How are you doing?
Hello, sir. I'm good. Thank you. How are you?
Doing well. Thank you. Yeah, question, please.
Yeah, no, my question is like if we purchase the license for the AWS for 1 year, that's for 2 rupees, as you say. While renewing.
1 minute. There's no concept of purchasing the license.
Okay, not license. I mean, when we purchase the software, the thing that you said, like if it'll charge us 2 rupees.
No. 2 rupees is the amount deducted to verify whether the debit card what you have entered is correct or not. That's
okay,
not the license cost. Okay, to validate whether the debit card what you have provided is correct or not, AWS will deduct you 2 rupees to make sure that the transaction is perfectly happening on that particular debit card for testing purpose, to make sure that the debit card is valid. Okay, that's not the license cost.
Sorry, no. So will it charge automatically for the next year, or else is it, you know, it'll disconnect
after this AWS account which you create now? It will be free. It's a free tier account for a period of 1 year.
1 year, yes. After that,
after 1 year, it will be a paid account. Okay, so it's up to you. After 1 year, what you can do, you can stop using it for us. Okay.
Okay.
And then after 1 year, you can create one more AWS account. Let's say you don't want that. You can create one more AWS account. That's not a problem.
Okay, so I can create multiple accounts and on same debit card.
Yes, you are right. On same debit card, you can go and create a new account. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
So you can hear only when I start speaking, Fayaz. Okay, so I have seen it in the chat box, so don't worry. Okay, once we start,
okay, sure.
Once we start the screen sharing, then you can start hearing my voice. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Nitin Gupta, how are you doing? Good morning.
Hi Sunil, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing well. You're from which location?
Noida.
Okay.
So my question was today, like you were talking about the security groups in AWS, right?
Yes.
So how can we define the security rights for particular user, like read write and write write? So how can
You
we
have to
define?
wait. You have to wait. We'll discuss. Not a problem. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Gautam Keshri. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
How are you doing?
Yeah, fine, sir. Sir, I'm just asking. Actually, I'm a new joiner. That means today is my first class. So I just wanted to recover my last two class as well. So
Are you in the WhatsApp group?
no, sir. I'm right now no. Today is my first class, so that after the class I will join the one WhatsApp group, sir.
Okay.
So how can we do this, sir?
Which one?
Actually, last route to recover, I
You
have
get the
to.
recordings in the group for the last two sessions, for the beginning sessions, for
Oh,
first
that
couple of sessions.
that's
Okay?
good, sir. That's good. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
And then later, the first few sessions, you get the recordings. Later, you will not get the recordings. You have to pay
Mhm.
999 rupees if you want all the recordings right from day one. Okay. And the live
Okay.
training is absolutely free, Gautam. Okay.
Okay,
Am I
okay.
clear?
So, last two recorded class
Yes.
in
Last
WhatsApp
2-3
group.
classes, anyways, you get it. Okay. In the WhatsApp group.
Okay, okay,
Okay.
fine. Sir. Yeah.
Fine. Good morning, Azim Sheikh. How are you doing?
Hi, good morning, Sunil.
Thank you for
I'm
joining.
well. You're welcome. My question is the same as in I am attending this class for the first time.
Okay.
So just wanted to understand about the session recording.
Are you
So
in the WhatsApp group?
Not yet. So the number is 83419244. What I see on your screen.
Okay. Give me 1 minute. I'll share your WhatsApp group joining link in the chat box right now, Azim.
Sure. Yep.
Using that WhatsApp group joining link, you can join the WhatsApp group so that you can get the updates about this particular training batch. Okay.
Certainly.
Not
Thank
only
you.
Azim, all the participants who are not in the WhatsApp group, I'm right now sending the WhatsApp group joining link in the chat box. Please join using that WhatsApp group, and please do not join duplicate groups. I've seen some participants joining multiple groups and duplicate groups. You will not get anything advantage when you join multiple groups. So please leave. One group is enough. That is 79 group. So let me check. The group numbers 7 and 8. Fine. I have just now posted the WhatsApp group joining link, Azim, in the chat box.
Yep.
You can use that particular link and join the WhatsApp group to get the updates.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Anything more, Azim? Any technical
No.
questions? Are you there in the last session?
Not. I was not there. So that's the reason I wanted to go through the recordings first.
Okay. Thank you. You're from which location?
I'm located in Pune.
Okay. Thank you, Azim. May I know your experience?
8 years experience. I was into server support, and recently I've moved to another project where I'm into Azure administration.
Okay. Okay.
Just to have another knowledge of another cloud technology. So I'm
Okay.
enrolling this thing.
Okay. Thank you, Azim.
You're welcome.
Raghu Pavan. Good morning.
Hi, Sunil.
Hi,
Able to hear
Raghu.
me?
I can hear you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. How about you, Sunil?
Yeah, doing well. Thank you. Your question.
Yeah, so yesterday you said the document which you are referring, you said you will share, right? That AWS creation thing and
Okay.
those things. So I just thought a reminder that it's not been shared yet.
Okay.
And one more thing, as this
1
is
minute, please. 1 minute, please. So I'll share it immediately right now in the chat box. Okay.
Okay.
1 minute. Today, 9 a.m. batch. The document which helps us to create a new AWS account, is it?
Yes.
Sunil, sorry
1
to
minute,
interrupt
please.
you.
1 minute, please. So Raghu, could you please
Yes.
check and confirm in the chat box? Are you able to download the PDF file which is helping to create a new AWS account?
In chat box, it is not there. And the group which you have shared it's already full. It is showing as full.
You're not in the WhatsApp group?
Yeah, I'm in WhatsApp group, but when I'm trying to say to my friend who wants to join, but he's not able to join because this account is full,
Okay.
group was full. I think.
Don't worry, I'll share you one more group before end of the session. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
And as this is a AWS course, right? So how we can get for DevOps? You said that it would
We are
be
starting it soon. Okay. You get the updates in the WhatsApp group about the new DevOps batch.
okay in the
Raghu?
same which we are having group.
Yes, in this particular AWS batch 79, you get the updates about the next DevOps batch. Okay, Raghu?
Okay, Sunil. Yeah.
Okay. Are you there in the last session?
Yes, I was there.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
You have created AWS account?
Yes, I already created last time. It's maybe it's finished again. I need to create a new account.
Go ahead and create a new account. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, Raghu.
Yeah, thank you.
Deva Reddy, good morning. By default, you will be on mute. Deva, you have to unmute and talk. I can see your hand raise. How are you doing today? Namita, good morning.
Yes, Sunil. Hi, good morning.
Yes.
My question is, if we have created the machine yesterday with the configuration, if we want to increase those configuration,
Okay. So do you remember the yesterday machine what we have created is a T2 micro machine? Agree?
Yeah. Yes.
That means this machine which we have created yesterday comes with 1 GB RAM. Okay.
Yeah.
And one processor, and I think 20 GB or 30 GB of storage. Agree, isn't it? This is the configuration of the Windows machine which you have created yesterday. Let's say if you want to increase the configuration in future, you want to increase to 4 GB RAM and you want 100 GB storage. Okay, that is called as a scaling up the hardware. We'll see it in the coming classes, Namita. Okay.
Okay, and one more thing, the key that we downloaded, that PEM key, that
Yes.
will be
That's called as a key pair, and the key pair file extension is .pem. Yes, yesterday once we have completed creating the EC2 machine, it will ask you to download the key pair, isn't it, Namita? We have downloaded that, and using that we have connected.
Yeah. So is it private to that server? I mean,
it's specific to that particular EC2 machine. Okay. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Clear, Namita?
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Anything more?
That's it.
Do you know AWS, or is the first time you're learning?
I know very basic, but I don't have any hands-on.
Okay. So what services you are aware of?
Actually, I'm working on Citrix.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're something very very new to AWS probably. Okay.
Yes.
You know only little bit of it. Okay.
Yes.
I hope you'll enjoy this training, Namita. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
That's it. So let's get into the agenda of today's session. In the last session, we have learned how to create a Linux, how to create a Windows machine. This session, we will be learning how to create a Linux machine. First point. Okay. And then we will experience the tools called as putty and puttygen. We'll be doing that. And then we'll get into the next concept called web server. Okay. Let's go ahead. Let's log into AWS. You already know how to log into AWS. The URL is aws.amazon.com. I already have an account, so I sign into my console. I log in with my email address and password. Logged into AWS Cloud. The landing page is called as AWS Management Console. Now, AWS is nothing but collection of services. On the left side, you can see a list of all the services what AWS provides, out of which we are learning the first service called as EC2. Stands for Elastic Compute Cloud. It's all about creating virtual machines on AWS Cloud Platform. You already know that. So if you can see right now, I'm connected to Mumbai data center, isn't it? And I already have 3 AWS instances. Instances are nothing but the virtual machines. Okay, I already have created 3 instances. Please do not worry about these 3 instances. I'll be using these instances for a different batch. And now I am creating altogether a new instance. What's my plan is to create a Linux machine. What's my plan is to create a Linux machine. Let's proceed. We already have experienced how to create a EC2 machine in the last session. So I'll be a little bit fast because we already have experienced it tested last session. In this session, what's our plan? Let's have a pictorial understanding. So this is my AWS cloud platform. So on my AWS cloud platform, we are experiencing the concept of creating a Linux machine. Perfect. Okay, let's proceed. Whenever you want to create a new machine, yes, we have an option of launch instances. Let's proceed creating a launch instances. Creating an AWS instance is a combination of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 steps. Creating a new instance, we have experienced creating a new instance is a 7-step process. Let's proceed understanding each and every step. Step 1, as you can see here, select Amazon machine image. You have to select Amazon machine image. I repeat, what is Amazon machine image? In simple words, it's an operating system. When your plan is to create a new virtual machine, when you're creating a new instance, you have to select operating system. You want to create a Linux machine. If it is Linux, you want to create Red Hat Linux, you want to create SUSE Linux, you want to create Ubuntu flavor. Or do you want to create altogether a Windows machine? You want to create Mac operating system. So whatever the operating system you want, you have to select here in step 1. Obviously, first step, what you need to do is to select the operating system. Amazon machine image in simple words refers to the operating system. What's my plan is to create a Linux. I go with Amazon Linux. We have several options also. You can proceed with Red Hat Linux or SUSE Linux. You have different flavors. So I'm going with Amazon Linux. I'm selecting the first option. Step 2, as you can see here, instance type. You need to choose an instance type. There are a lot of instance types here. You can read this: T2 nano, T2 micro, T2 small, T2 medium. There are different types of instances. But very important observation, the only instance type which is eligible for free tier. As you can observe, the only instance which is eligible for free tier is a T2 micro instances. Yes. We have created a free tier account. Okay, so please make sure that you take free tier options. Okay, so I go for T2 micro instances. So selecting the instance type is all about defining the hardware configuration of that particular instance. So this Linux machine which I am creating is a T2 micro instance. This means this Linux machine comes with 1 GB memory. That's nothing but 1 GB RAM and 1 CPU. Okay, so I now know the hardware configuration of this particular Linux machine. The hardware configuration of this particular Linux machine is 1 GB RAM and 1 processor. Okay, so, and what about the hard disk? One more configuration is hard disk. Hard disk comes under step 4, that is storage. So we'll be seeing it soon. So step 1 is Amazon machine image, that is operating system. Step 2 is selecting the instance type. Okay, it comes with my instance is T2 micro. That means this Linux machine comes with 1 GB RAM and 1 CPU. Next. Step 3 is number of instances. How many number of instances you want to? How many Linux machines you want? You can go ahead and create 10 Linux machines in a single shot. In a single wizard, you can go ahead and create 10 instances. But my plan is to create only 1 instance. So the number of instances, take the default one, 1. Default instance, number of instances, 1. Next is storage. Storage is nothing but the hard disk. This Linux machine comes with 8 GB of storage. Okay. So now I got the complete hardware configuration of my Linux machine. So this Linux machine comes with 1 GB RAM, 1 CPU and 8 GB storage. I hope you remember when we have created Windows machine, it is giving us 30 GB of storage. So the number of storage which AWS provides you depends on the operating system. For Linux, it goes to providing 8 GB. That's more than enough for us. Okay, next. Tags is all about providing the name to the instances. I don't want to provide any tags as of now. Click on next. Security group. This is very, very important. We already have discussed this point in the last session. Security group is all about defining what port needs to be opened. When you are creating a Linux machine, if you want to successfully connect it to the Linux machine, after creating the Linux machine, obviously what you want to do from your personal laptop, after creating a Linux machine, what's your plan? Your plan is to connect to this particular Linux machine. from your personal laptop. My plan is to connect to Linux machine. So when can you successfully connect to the Linux machine? You can connect to the Linux machine only when, my dear friends, you can connect it to the Linux machine only when port is open. Isn't it? Only when port is open. Okay. For Linux, for communicating to Linux machine, we use SSH port. Yesterday, for Windows machine, we have opened RDP port. The port is different. So here for Linux machine, we have to open SSH port. Okay, we have to open SSH port. So AWS is very intelligent. It's already recommending you that you have to open SSH port. It's already open. It's just showing you, my dear friend, you're creating a Linux machine. So it has already identified that needs to open SSH port. That's fine. It's always good practice to provide a name to the security group. So security group is all about what ports to be opened, but it's always good practice to provide a name to the security group. What is the advantage you get it when you name a security group? I'll explain that later. But remember, the name of the security group which I want to create is, let's say, I want to name it as SG. Any name you can write it. You can write your name with today's date 9. What is this? This is the name of the security group. I want to have maintain name and description both the same. I want to provide name to the security group. So I want to take a note of it because I want to discuss this later. I'll take a note of it. The security group name, which we have named it here, is SG9. Agree? Okay. This security group is having what port open? SSH port. I'm very clear about this. Okay. I provided a name to the security group. That's it. Click on review and launch. We are in the last step. Review the details. Make sure that you are selecting the right operating system and all those. When you click on launch, what happens, my dear friends? When you click on launch, what will happen? I hope you remember, it will ask you to download a key pair. Agree? It will ask you to download, create a new key pair. We have seen that in the last session. It will ask you to create a new key pair. I think I have created a special folder in the desktop to save my key pairs. I think the name of the folder is Sunil. This was the key pair which was downloaded yesterday, xyz.pem. So here I want to download my key pair. Key pair name can be anything. So let's experience it. Click on launch. Select an existing key pair, or you can go ahead and create a new key pair. You can also select the existing key pair. So, but let's make it very clear. I go with creating a new key pair. Key pair name can be anything. Key pair name can be anything. It can be any name. So I'm naming it as with my name, Sunil, with today's date 9. This is my key pair name. Download the key pair. I want to download in my desktop. I have created a folder with my name, Sunil. And I am downloading my key pair. So key pair downloading is very, very important. Click on launch instances. Scroll down, click on view instances. I have successfully created a Linux machine. Okay. I have successfully created a Linux machine. Okay. So this Linux machine is an Amazon Linux, comes with 1 GB RAM, 1 CPU, and this machine is created in which data center? Mumbai data center. It takes less than a minute. It just takes less than a minute for the machine to get up and running. So we have successfully created a Linux machine. I hope I'm very clear. We are done with our agenda for the first point. We have learned how to create a Linux machine. Clear? Clear about the process of creating a Linux machine. Any quick questions? Please raise your hand. Okay. Sparsh Agarwal. Sparsh Agarwal, I can see your hand raised. Yes.
Yeah,
good morning.
hi.
How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
Doing well. Thank you.
Yeah.
Your question.
My question is like, for every EC2 instance, do we need to download key pair again and again?
Not required. You can also choose an existing key pair. Okay. In fact, we have seen yesterday there was a key pair, right? xyz.key pair. In fact, you can use that key pair also. But for clarity purpose, as we are beginners, I have altogether completely exclusively created a new key pair. Okay, Sparsh. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Anything more, Sparsh?
No, thanks.
Thank you. Sachin R.
Hello, hi sir, good morning.
Good morning, Sachin. Yes.
Still, I got an answer from the previous question.
Okay, the same question, Sachin?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, you,
One more
you
that I
can
have.
choose an existing
Yeah.
key pair. That's how you can
Okay.
go ahead and create a new key pair. That's
Okay.
not
Can I xyz.pem is there in one machine? Can I open it in another machine?
First point,
If
why do you
we
open it? You don't need to open it.
no, I have keeper in my one machine. Okay.
On your
If
personal
I want
laptop.
to open virtual machine in another personal machine, what I need to do?
Copy the
I
key
can
pair in
sign
your
in. Okay.
one
But
minute.
I
One minute.
can.
1 minute.
Yeah.
Sachin. You have downloaded a key pair in your laptop.
Yes.
Agree? Now you
Yes.
want to connect to your AWS account and you want to work with that particular machine from a different laptop.
Yes.
So what you need is that particular key pair.
Yep.
Agree?
PEM. Yes.
PEM file is nothing but a key pair.
Yes.
Key pair is nothing but the file with extension.pem. Am I right, Sachin?
Yes. Yes.
So what you can do, you can copy the pen drive, key pair in your pen drive, and then you can transfer the pen drive to other laptop.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then
Sure.
what you need is a key pair, or you can upload that key pair to your email and download it from to your different personal laptop,
Oh,
and then
yeah.
you can do it. Okay.
Yeah.
What
Okay.
you need is that file. That's enough. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Thank
Yes,
you.
Sachin.
Yes. Yes. It was clear.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Done. So we have created a Linux machine. You can see the Linux machine is up and running. Okay. What's my next plan? My next plan is I want to connect. I'm very excited. As last session, we have created a Windows machine and we have connected to Windows machine. So from my personal laptop, I want to connect to Linux machine. If you want to connect to Linux machine, we need a terminal. We need a terminal. The terminal is called, as you are right, we use putty as a terminal. What is putty? What is putty? Putty is a terminal. Putty is a terminal. Using putty, using the terminal, we'll be connecting to the Linux machines. So we have successfully created a Linux machine in Mumbai. Very good. But I am from Hyderabad. From my personal laptop, I want to connect to that particular Linux machine, which is somewhere running in Mumbai. You can do that. You can do that, no doubt, but you use a terminal called as putty. So what is putty? Putty is a terminal which is used to connect to the Linux machine. So first step, what you have to do, you have to download putty in your personal laptop. Agree? You need to download putty in your personal laptop. Downloading putty is pretty simple. Okay. It is simple. I'll show you how can we download putty in your personal laptops. Just search for putty download. Okay, take the first site and then putty download. Click here, take the first option. My is a 64-bit operating system. You can download the putty. Okay. In my downloads, I download the putty. Putty is already available. Okay. In my case, can you see here? Putty.exe file is already available. So I don't download it. It's already available in my downloads folder. I have shown you how to download putty. Once it's an exe file, can you see here? You can see the putty.exe file. Can you see the exe file? When you click on this exe file, automatically the putty application will be open. So using this putty, you will be connecting to the Linux machine. So first step, what you have to do is to download putty.exe file. And I have shown you how to download putty. Okay, a putty is there in your laptop. Next point. Next point. The putty terminal needs ppk file to connect to the Linux machines. If you want to connect to the Linux machine, putty needs ppk file, stands for putty private key. Putty needs what file? Putty private key. Do you have ppk file? Now what AWS provides you, whenever you're creating a Linux machine, AWS has provided a key pair. Key pair is nothing but a PEM file. You are right. So AWS has not provided ppk file. AWS has provided key pair. Key pair is nothing but a file with extension.pem. It is sunil9.pem. But putty cannot use this particular PEM file. Putty needs what file? ppk file. Stands for putty private key. So what you need to do, you need to convert a file with extension.pem, what AWS provides us, and you need to convert it to ppk file. Are you understanding? I hope you're very clear. I hope I'm very clear. Putty, if you want to connect to the Linux machine using putty. If you want to connect to the Linux machine using putty. Putty needs PPK file, stands for putty private key. But is it AWS provides PPK file? No, AWS is providing a generic file, something like a PEM file. So what you need to do, you need to convert the PEM file to PPK file. So how can we convert? So step one, what you need to do, first convert the PEM file to PPK file. So that is possible by using an application called as puttygen. That is possible by using an application called puttygen. Stands for putty key generator. Puttygen stands for putty key generator. What it will generate the putty private key PPK file. So puttygen is an application. The puttygen is an application, so it will convert the PEM file to PPK file. So first step, what you have to do, convert PEM file to, I hope I'm very clear. First step, what you need to do, convert the PEM file to PPK file. That is possible using an application called as puttygen. Once the PPK file is available, step 2, you can successfully happily connect to the Linux machine using the final terminal called as putty, and using putty you'll be connecting to the Linux machine. That is second step. So first step, let's learn how can we convert the PEM file to PPK file. If you want to convert the PEM file to PPK file, you need to an application called as puttygen. So what you need to do, you need to download puttygen in your personal laptop. You need to download puttygen in your personal laptop. How to download puttygen? So as usual, go to Google, search for puttygen. Download. The first link, not the first link. The right link is chairk.greenend.org.uk. This is the right site. So go to this chairk.greenend.org and then install puttygen.ext 64-bit. Okay, install puttygen.exe 64-bit. I already have installed it. I'll show you. Look at this. So putties.exe is already available. Puttygen.exe is already I have downloaded. Okay. Once it is downloaded, so puttygen, you need to click on this. It gets executed. The putty key generator will be opened. Clear? Am I clear? I hope I'm very clear. So we will be using a putty key generator first. Using this putty key generator, what we'll do first, we will be converting the PEM file to PPK file. So what I'll do, I'll upload the PEM file. Okay, where is the PEM file available? It is very obvious. The PEM file is available in my desktop Sunil folder. Sunil9.pem is the PEM file, and this PEM file I'll be converting to PPK file. Look at the way I convert the PEM file to PPK file. In this putty key generator, upload the PEM file. Upload the PEM file. So again, here we have an option load. In my desktop, the name of the folder is Sunil folder. I am go for all files option, select the PEM file which you want to convert. That is sunil9.pem. Just click on OK. Just click on OK. And here we have an option called save private key. Click on save private key. Click on yes. And where do you want to save it? In the same desktop folder, Sunil folder. File name can be anything. I want to maintain same file name, Sunil9. File name can be anything. It can be different also, but the file extension should be .ppk file, sunil9.ppk file. Save. Now you can see here in the background, the PEM file is converted to PPK file. Got it? So putty needs PPK file. We have successfully converted PEM file to PPK file. I'll show you one more time how to convert the PEM file to PPK file. Right now I'm deleting this PPK file. I'm repeating one more time how to convert the PEM file. So open the terminal called puttygen. Load the PEM file. Save private key. It can be the same name. It can be a different name. That's not a problem. I will maintain same name, but the file extension should be PPK file. It's fine. Yes, you can see now the PEM file is converted to PPK file. Using the PEM file, I have generated the PPK file. Once that is done, so step 1 is done. We are done with converting the PEM file to PPK file. Now, step 2, now the putty key generator is not required. Now the actual terminal, that is putty, comes into action. I'm opening putty.exe, and then I'll be connecting. How can we connect? What are the credentials which are required? What are the details which are required to connect to the Linux machine? Yes. This is the machine which I want to connect. Agree? This is the machine which I want to connect. Click on connect. When you click on connect, you can see here, you can get username at the DNS name. Pick up this value. This is the DNS name, EC2-13. That's the DNS name. If you don't worry, if you don't know the DNS name, don't worry. I'll keep that. I'll explain the DNS name later. You need to pick up this information, user at DNS name. Not the complete SSH command. I'm only picking up the user at DNS. Okay, I just copy it for your reference in the notepad. So this is the information you need to provide it. Where I should provide it? In the host name. Can you see in the putty we have host name? So host name should be user at the rate DNS. Okay. Copy. And putty needs what file? My dear friends, putty needs what file? You're right. Putty needs PPK file under SSH. Under authentication, auth stands for authentication. You should mention the private key. You have already generated the private key. Browse. Where is your private key? Putty private key is nothing but PPK file. Sunil9.ppk file. You have to clearly mention where exactly your PPK file, because putty needs PPK file. That's it. Okay, so this is the private key. So using the private key and using the user at the DNS name, when you click on OK, it will ask you, are you sure you want to connect? Yes. You have successfully connected to the Linux machine. Hooray! Not just creating a Linux machine, you have successfully connected to the Linux machine. Let's increase the font size. Let's increase the font size for better visibility. Let's increase the font size for the better visibility. You can see now we have successfully connected to the Linux machine. You may have a question. Sunil, what is the proof that you are connected to the Linux machine? When you connect to Linux machine, you get an IP address 172.31.46.51, isn't it? That's the IP address of the Linux machine. I'll show you. You can see this is the Linux machine. You can see the IP address also. Can you see the IP address 172.31.46.151? 172.31.46.151. Are you getting the same number? Yes, you have successfully connected to the Linux machine. You have successfully connected to the Linux machine. I'll show you one more time how to disconnect it, exit. I'll show you one more time. You will be opening a terminal called as putty. You'll be opening a terminal called as putty. In the host name, you need to select user at DNS. And then under SSH, under authentication, browse where exactly your PPK file is available. Yes, click on open. You will be connected. Yes, you are right. You have successfully connected to the Linux machine. Let's increase the font size. Perfect. So not just creating a Linux machine, we have successfully connected to Linux machine. So where are we standing on today's agenda? You know how to create a Linux machine. You know the importance of puttygen and putty. Puttygen is used to generate the PPK file. Putty is the terminal which we use it for connecting to the Linux machine. Okay, clear about this? Successful. We have created a Linux machine and we also know how to connect to the Linux machine. Next part. This is the most important part. Before going into the next part, any questions, please raise your hand. Zishan, how are you doing? Good morning.
Yeah, hi Sunil. Good morning.
Good morning. You're from which city?
Hyderabad, Sunil.
Yes, Zishan, your question, please.
Yes. So I have one question, Sunil. Do we need a good configuration laptop to perform all such, like a personal laptop, to perform all these things, or is
To
it
learn
okay?
AWS.
Yes.
Okay. The configuration of your personal laptop does not make any difference, because I hope you have experienced this from the complete infrastructure what we are creating on cloud, isn't it?
Yes.
So minimum configuration 4 GB RAM is enough. Okay. Of your
Okay.
laptop. Okay.
And also one more question, Sunil, because I belong from a customer service background. Okay.
Mhm.
And all this AWS and cloud management is completely new for me.
Okay.
So how can I see the scope in it? Because like I belong from a
First
technical.
point. Are you there right from day one?
Yes.
Okay, so how is your experience in learning AWS? Are you able to understand whatever I'm saying?
Yes, it's
Okay.
very understandable, and I think it's very easy. Like
Okay.
as for the first two classes, I understood it
Okay.
very well.
You need to do day-to-day hands-on, Zishan, to make sure that the subjects what you're learning is very it retains. Okay, and you need to put little more effort because you're completely from non-IT background, you're getting into IT
Yes.
background. Okay, you need to put additional effort when compared to other participants. Okay,
Yes.
so try to understand more about terminologies, and from my end I make sure that everything is very clear, Zishan. So you need to put more efforts.
Yes. And also, Sunil, one more thing. I worked on AWS once because like I was into a domain like a domain company wherein I used to manage the domains for for the
customers.
SEO, yeah, for the SEO customers to for their website in like just migrating their email IDs to AWS on our platform. So I did that just with the Route 53. So I just have the
Got it.
experience on Route 53.
Okay, that's fine, not a problem. But you are only exposed towards one service. Rest of all services also you should be strong in. Okay. I
Sure.
also recommend you to learn one more course called DevOps on combination with AWS. It's going good in the market position.
Sure.
Just stay focused and be regular and
Sure.
be hands-on is very important. Okay.
Sure. Thank you so much, Sunil. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Zishan. Harshal Zope. How are you doing?
Are you able, am my voice audible?
You are audible, Harshal. How are you? And you're from which city?
I am good. I'm from Pune, Sunil.
Yeah, from
how
Pune,
about?
I think so.
Yeah. So Sunil, one question I need to ask you is, we tried connecting this with the putty, right? But what if we need a GUI?
Let's wait. Okay, so to have a GUI experience, there's something called VNC viewer. You can have a GUI experience, but most of the time we should be comfortable working with putty environment. Okay, we'll see it soon if possible, Harshal. Okay, anything more?
Yeah.
Clear about the importance of puttygen and
no. The question asking, my perspective was different actually. If we need to try to reboot the server or something goes wrong,
okay,
then
here we have an
have
options. In fact, you can see here. Let's say this is a machine in case if the machine is in a running state, isn't it? Okay, let's say once you're done practicing, so I recommend you to go to actions. There's an option called instance step. We can stop it. Okay, stopping is something like shutting down the machine. Okay, and whenever you want, again you can start the machine. Okay, so here we have an most user friendly, comfortable way wherein you can manage the Linux instances, Harshal. Okay, am I clear?
Yeah,
you know this, Harshal, or is it are you new to AWS?
No, I just have a very high level of overview about it. I'm an Oracle DBA, so I'm too much eager to have the RDS service exposure, EC2 RDS, and something. I'm looking forward for that.
Thank you, Harshal.
Yeah, thank you, Sunil. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much. Fine. Perfect. Let's move on. We have created a Linux machine. Good. And you have successfully connected a Linux machine. Very good. Okay. I want to now introduce a concept called as web server. Okay. I want to now introduce a concept called as web server. Please look at this. Let's say this is your laptop. Okay. This is your laptop. You're opening the browser that is Google Chrome. Okay. You're opening the browser that is Google Chrome and you're typing a website, something like icicibank.com. You want to do some internet banking, whatever it is, you are opening a site called icicibank.com. From your personal laptop, if you open the Google Chrome, that is, you're opening a browser and you're typing in website icicibank.com, observe what happens. When I type icicibank.com, the moment I press enter, I look at the response. I get the website. Agree? Yes. I got the web page. In fact, what is this? This is a web page. Okay, so I'm getting a web page. So when a user. End user is nothing but user like you and me who are accessing the application. If I'm opening ICICIbank.com, the moment I press enter, what happens? From my personal laptop, the moment I enter ICICIbank.com and I press enter, the request will go to, you're getting a web page. Agree? You have experience, you're getting a web page. So from where we are getting the web page, the request will go to a machine. In this one machine, there's one machine where you have all the web pages, login.html, contact us.html, mini statement.html. You have some web pages. Where the web page, do you think this web page like images, all these are available in your personal laptop? No. All these pages, all these images is not there in your personal laptop, right? So the moment I press ICICIbank.com, the request will go to web server. Web server is nothing special. It's also one machine. Like we have just now created Linux machine. Let's say like yesterday we have created Windows machine. That's also one machine. That's also normal computer only, which runs 24/7. Obviously, the site should not go down, right? Website should not go down. It runs 24/7. So that's nothing but a web server. So let's have an introduction about, let's have a theoretical understanding about web server, and then we'll have a discussion more about this. A web server is a program. It's a program. In other words, it's a small software. You can say it as a program. You can say it as a small software which uses HTTP protocol, hypertext transfer protocol. It uses HTTP protocol to serve the files from the web pages to the user. Who is a user? User is nothing but you and me who are accessing ICICIbank.com or Amazon.in, or I'm opening Flipkart.com. We are the end users. Okay, so whenever you are opening a site, I have Flipkart.com, I get some web page. From where I'm getting the web page? From the web server. So web server is a small program which is running in a remote location somewhere in Mumbai, Delhi, wherever it can be. It will wait for the request. For our users like us, if you open ICICIbank.com, the request will go to web server. In response, that web page will be delivered to that particular user. As simple as that. Web server, it will serve you. You go to a hotel, your server will come you and they'll ask you, what do you want, isn't it? Then you order what you want. So the server will take your request and gives you the food as you ordered. In the same way, server is something like a program. My dear friend, that server is not running on your personal laptop. No, it's somewhere running in a different machine, which will take the request from the users and gives you the web pages. That's it, as simple as that. Okay, so web server is nothing but a small program. Web server is nothing but a small software, small program, which will wait for the request from the users. Okay, let's say I am opening ICICIbank.com. You may be in US, you are opening ICICIbank.com. One participant may be in Australia, he's also opening ICICIbank.com. All of us should get the same page. Agree or not? You're right. So the request will go to web server, and in response, the web server will deliver the web pages. So as simple as that. Clear? As simple as that. Examples of web servers, that small software is called as a web server. Examples of web servers are Apache HTTP server is one example of web server. Internet Information Server by Microsoft, this is one example of web server. Nginx is one example of web server. HTTPD is an example of web server. These are all web servers. They are small programs, very small programs, which will wait for the request. Okay, request is nothing but when you're typing ICICIbank.com, that is a request. The request will go to web server, and in response, you get the web page. That's it. Clear about this? Very simple. Don't think complex. Concepts are simple. Okay, now this particular Linux machine which I have just now created, isn't it, my dear friends? This particular Linux machine which I have just now created, I want to make this Linux machine as web server. I want to make this Linux machine as web server. Yes, anything you can do it. If you install web package, if you install HTTPD, if you are installing Nginx, then this particular machine becomes web server. Or in this machine, if you install Oracle, it becomes a database server. It's up to you. How do you want to use this EC2 machine? Are you understand? This is a plain Linux operating system, plain machine, nothing, no software install it. It's hardware, on top of it, operating system, simple plain Linux machine. That's all. We have not installed anything. If you install it, it behaves like that. If you install HTTPD, it behaves like a web server. If you install Oracle, it behaves like a database server. It's up to you. How do you want to use this machine? Now I want to use this machine as a web server. I want to showcase the practical usage of how exactly web server works. Let's do hands-on. I want to make this machine, which I've just now created. I want to use that as a web server. In that case, you install the software. When you install the software, it becomes a web server. Yes, so I want to install one of these softwares. My plan is to install HTTPD. HTTPD is an example of web server. So what I want to do, I want to install HTTPD in this particular Linux machine so that it becomes a web server. And let's see how exactly we get the responses or not. Clear about this? Let's go on. So these are all examples of web server. You can install anything. All the web servers activity is the same. I'm going with HTTPD. HTTPD stands for HTTP daemon, is a small software program that runs in the background as a web server, that runs in a Linux operating system, behaves like it is a web server. So what this HTTPD, in fact, not only HTTPD, any web server will do the same thing. This will wait for the incoming request. When you're opening a site, www.somexyz.com, the request will be going to the web server. The daemon answers the request by serving HTTP text or multimedia documents, videos, images. So these are all multimedia documents, agree? So all these are multimedia documents. So the HTTPD will take the request. In response, it will serve the multimedia documents over the HTTP protocol. That's it. As simple as that. Now let's go ahead and I want to install that HTTPD on this particular Linux machine so that it becomes a web server. So let's go ahead. I already connected. Agree? I already have connected to the Linux machine. Agree? I already have connected to Linux machine. So what's your plan now? You want to install HTTPD into this particular Linux machine. Yes, very simple. These are the commands, set of commands, which you run it, the web server will be installed. The web server will be installed. Okay, so let's do that. Sudo su stands for switch user. Whenever you want to install software, it's always recommended to switch to root user. Root user is a high level user. So sudo su command, which helps you to switch to root user. Root user is a high level user. Root user is indicated with hash prompt. Normal users are indicated with dollar prompt. So I have connected to root user so that I get all permissions. Okay, next. I want to install this software in my Linux machine. Before that, if you want to install software in your personal laptop, what do you do, my dear friends? If you want to install some software in your personal laptop, you want to install something like Google Chrome, you want to install some Notepad++, or you want to install some Skype, whatever you want to install, what we do, first we download the software from the Google. Agree or not? Let's say, for example, you want to install Notepad++. So what you'll do, you'll search for Google Notepad++ download, and then you will go to that particular site and you download it. That's what happens in your personal laptop. Now what you want to do here is, I don't want to download it on my personal laptop. I want to install it on this Linux machine, isn't it? Okay, whenever you want to install some software in Linux, my dear friends, look at this. Whenever you want to install some software in Linux, the software is called as package. In Linux environment, it is called as a package. Package is nothing but a software. I want to install web package. That is nothing but web server. The term package refers to software in Linux. Any software which you want to install in Linux is referred as package. Whenever you want to install the package, web server is a package. Whenever you want to install the package in Linux, it's a two-step process. First, what you need to do, you need to update the repository. You have to update the repository and install the required package. Whenever you want to install package in Linux, package is nothing but software. From now, I'll be using a term called package. When I say package, you have to understand that software. Whenever you want to install any package in Linux, whether it is a web package or it is a database package or any other third-party packages, whenever you want to install some packages in Linux, it's a two-step process, my dear friends, you need to follow. First step, what you need to do, you need to update the repository. And then once update the repository is done, then you have to install the required package. Next question is what comes to your mind is, sir, what do you mean by repository? Sir, you are saying that step 1, you said that we have to update the repository. Fine, sir, we will do that. But again, you tell me what is repository? Repository is nothing but a very big, you can visualize as a very big warehouse of packages. Linux community is maintaining thousands and millions of packages in a repository. That in a warehouse. That warehouse you can visualize as a repository. Repository can visualize as a very big warehouse which is having thousands of packages. So whenever you want to install one specific package, first step what you need to do is to update the repository, because when you want to install the package, you want the latest versions of the packages. Agree? Generally, when you want to install some package, we should make sure that we install latest versions of the package. So to make sure that you install latest versions, first step what you need to do, you have to update the repository. So here also I want to install the web package. So I follow a 2-step process. First, what I'll do, I'll update the repository. First step I'll do, I'll update the repository. The name of the repository is yum. The name of the repository is yum. Repository changes. In case of Ubuntu, it is called as apt repository. Here it is Amazon Linux, it is called as yum repository. Step 1, what I'll do, I'll update the repository. This is the command. Yum update -y is helping us to update the repository. You can see the repository is getting updated. It's already updated. Fine. Because this is a fresh machine which you created, it's almost updated. You want to install which package, my dear friends? You want to install which package? You want to install httpd, and this is the command to install httpd. That's it. Yum install httpd -y. Y stands for yes. Are you sure you want to install? You will not get this question. I'm already providing it as yes. So this particular command will install httpd. Yes. See how much time it is taking? Completed. It's not even taking 1 minute. So that's installed. The web package is installed. The web package is installed. Now your Linux machine can be called as, now you can call it as web server, boss. Don't think technical jargons. These are pretty simple. Now you can say my Linux machine is a web server. Now your machine works as a web server. So I also rename it. You can do it. So this is a web server. Now I can say it as web server. Name can be anything. So I'm writing it as web server. Now my machine is a web server. I can call it as a web server because I have installed httpd. Okay. Now, if any user sends a request to my EC2 machine, in response, it should deliver the web page. So minimum, we should have 1 page, right? If you want the 1 page to be delivered, we should create 1 page, right? So for that purpose, look at this. I am going to this particular HTML directory. CD stands for change directory. You need to go to this particular directory, HTML directory. And then I am creating 1 page called as index.html. Okay. You should have minimum 1 page in your server, right? If it is a very big website, you can create 10 pages, home page, services page, login page, contact us page, register page, or something like that. Here, just I am creating 1 minimum page that is called as index.html. 1 web page I am creating in the server. And what content I am writing? I am writing my Google. So this particular statement will help you to create 1 page, one web page. And what is the content will be that in the web page? What is the content will be there in that web page? My Google is the content. So 1 page, 1 file is already created, index.html. Let's say if you're planning for a very big website, you can create some number of HTML pages. So as of now, I'm creating 1 page. And you have just installed it. You have not started the web server. This is the command to start the web server. Service httpd start is a command which helps you to start the web server. Next. Once the web server is started, we need to do 1 more command. Check config http on is the command which you should run it. This command will help you to start the web server automatically when you restart the machine. When you restart the EC2 machine, here we have an option of restarting the EC2 machine. In case when you restart the EC2 machine, automatically the web server should be started, right? So for that, we have to use this command, check config http on. So this command, when you run it, the web server will be started automatically when you start the EC2 machine. That's it. Now your machine is Linux machine is a web server. It's up to you whether how do you want to use that operating system. If you install some web package like HTTPD, it becomes web server. If you install Tomcat, it behaves like a Tomcat server. If you install Oracle, it behaves like a database server. It's up to you. How do you want to use it? I hope I'm very clear and creating a Linux machine. Not only Linux machine, I have converted that machine as we are using that particular Linux machine as a web server because we have installed web package. Perfect. Okay. Now let's test. If anybody in the world will connect to my web server, if anybody in the world from their personal laptop, if I connect to web server, I should get that 1 web page. We have created 1 web page, right? Index.html, we should get that page. Okay. So let's experience it. So how can I experience it? So I will now connect to the IP address. This is the Linux machine which I just now created. Am I right, friends? This is the IP address. I'm picking up the IP address from this. Every machine will have an IP address. I'm taking the public IP. And then in my browser, I am typing my IP address and I press enter. I want to connect to this EC2 machine using the browser. The moment you press enter, the request will go to that particular EC2 machine. And there is one page, right? Index.html page. What is that content in that one page? We have a content like my Google, isn't it? That's a small one word of content. The moment I press enter, I should get that one web page. Agree or not? Yes, let's experience it. I'm pressing enter. My dear friends. Observe, I press enter, it's processing. Are you getting the web page? No. We are not getting the web page. Let's try to understand why are we not getting the web page. Even though I press IP address and I press enter, I am not getting the web page. What is the problem? Look at this. Look at this. Copy the public IP and paste it in the browser. Are you able to access? Okay, you are not able to access. What is the problem? Browser communicates using HTTP port. From your personal laptop, you are connecting to IP address that is EC2 machine, fine, using the Google Chrome, but browser communicates using what protocol? HTTP port. Browser communicates using HTTP port. My dear friends, in the EC2 machine, did you open HTTP port? No. What you have opened? SSH port. But browser will not use SSH port. Browser uses HTTP port. You need to open one more port. Browser communicates using HTTP port. You have to open HTTP port. You may have a question, Sunil, when you have created a Linux machine, we have opened port. Yes, you are right. You have open port, but that's not a HTTP port. You have opened SSH port, as you can see in the diagram. When you're creating a machine, you have opened SSH port. SSH port is used for connecting from putty and all this. Putty terminal uses SSH port, but the browser does not use SSH port. You have to open one more port. What port you have to open? You're right. Friends, I hope I'm very clear. I hope I'm very clear. You have to open one more port. What you need to open? You need to open HTTP port. Okay. Next point, how to open the HTTP port of this particular Linux machine. Do you remember when we have created a Linux machine, we have provided a name to the security group. We have provided a name to the security group. That's the reason I have taken a note of it. The name of the security group is SG9. So security group deals with opening the ports, closing the ports, and all those stuff. Agree? So go to this particular security group and open one more port, HTTP port. So let's go to that particular security group. How to go to that particular security group? What's the name of the security group? What is the name of the security group? SG9. Okay. In the EC2 dashboard, scroll down. Can you see we have an option called security groups? Can you see we have an option called security groups? There are a lot of security groups available. In fact, you can see here there are a lot of security groups here. What is the name you have provided? Here you have an option of naming the security group. You can see the name of the security group. My security group, what I have created is SG9. As you have provided a name, you can easily have it. So select this particular security group, click on the security group ID, and then scroll down. And here you can see that the SSH port is open. Edit, you can see edit inbound rules. You can already see that one port is open, SSH port is open. Now I want to open one more port. What port I want to open? You're right, I'm opening one more port called as HTTP port. Okay, source should be anywhere in the sense anybody in the world can connect using HTTP port to this particular Linux machine. Click on save rules. So my dear friends, I have successfully opened the one more port. Like this, whenever required, you can add the port. Whenever you don't want, you can remove the port using the security group. I hope you got more understanding about the concept of security group. As I have opened the HTTP port, now I take the public IP. Superb. Now let's pick up the public IP, my dear friends. This is the web server, right, which I just now created. Take the public IP now and paste in your browser, that is Google Chrome. My dear friends, are you getting my Google page? Yes, hooray. It can be simple my Google page. It could be complex page, as I say back. That depends upon the how beautifully the page is designed. But the concept, you are able to crack it. Using you are connecting to that particular EC2 machine. EC2 machine is working as a web server because you have installed a web package and you have some set of pages. We have one page and one page you are able to respond. Yes, you have experienced the web server and you have created a web server. That's the concept of web server. Clear about this. So I will be now. Tell me, not only me, anybody in the world can connect to my web server. I'm sending you the IP address in the chat box. My dear friends, I have just sent you the IP address of my Linux machine in the chat box. I want you to pick up the IP address which I have just now mentioned in the chat box, 13.234. .240.36, pick up the IP address and the chat box and open your Google Chrome and try to access this IP address from the chat box. Are you able to get the web page My Google? If yes, please type yes in the chat box. Super. So not only me, anybody in the world can connect to that web server. Clear it. So it's up to the business requirements. How do you want to use that EC2 machines? Are you excited, clear about the concept of today's session? We have learned not only creating a Linux machine, now you know how to connect to the Linux machine, you know the importance of puttygen, you know the importance of putty. We have installed some specific software in that particular Linux machine and you are able to experience the concept of web server. Are you happy with this example? Please type yes in the chat box. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, clear about this. So let's stop the chat. Okay, so we are done with our agenda for today's session. We are done with our agenda for today's session. You know how to create a Linux machine. Remember, day to day we are adding more and more concepts. Okay, you have to do hands-on. We have shown you how to create a Linux machine. I have discussed about the importance of putty is a terminal. This is the right terminal, and puttygen is for converting the PEM file. What is web server? I've shown you how to install the web server. I have shown you how to look at the security groups. Clear about this. Clear about this. So before ending today's session, let's have a quick interaction with some of the participants, not obviously all the participants. Please raise your hand. Vinay Jilla. How are you doing, Vinay?
Yeah, hi, sir.
Clear about what did we discussed in today's session, Vinay?
Yeah, absolutely, sir. Like I have a few questions. Like if we install Windows EC2 instance, we have default username, right? Like
Administrator
and password. So
yes.
can we change that one?
You can change it. You can see remote desktop users. I hope you know it. You go to remote desktop users and then you can create a new user. It's how you can control it. Okay, that's not a problem. You can create a new user and you can provide the new password for that particular user. Instead of administrator, you can also connect with your own username and password. You can do that. Okay. Next. Anything more, Vinay?
Like when I'm open EC2 instance and I'm facing some issues like some internet enhancement issues. Is it with AWS or?
When you have created EC2 machine?
Yeah.
When you log into AWS cloud?
No. When I open the EC2 instance, Windows EC2 instance, when I'm browsing with Internet Explorer, facing some enhancement security related.
You have to wait a couple of minutes. So there will be some security updates that happens automatically on the Windows machine when you create it, and then it will be running good. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. And one more point which I want to discuss for all the participants. Let's say once you're done practicing, so the machine is running state. Okay. So don't directly sign out. Don't directly sign out. It's good practice to stop the Linux machine. Let's say I'm done with practicing my Linux machine. I disconnect, exit one more time to disconnect the putty, and then this is the machine. Please don't leave running. So you have to go to actions. There's an option instance state. There's an option called stop. And are you sure you want to stop the instances? It's good practice to stop the instances. And then once you stop the instances, and then you can sign out. Okay, let's say if you want to practice tomorrow again, you can again select the instance, then you can start the same instance. Clear? I hope please make sure that you stop the instances, and whenever you want, you can again start the instance and connect to the same instance, and you can work with it. Okay. Yes. Navya Meka, how are you doing? You are allowed to unmute, Navya.
Yeah, hello.
Yes, Navya.
Yeah, and at the top, you are saying that it is connected to Mumbai data center, right?
You are right.
If it will automatically connect to that nearest data center, or we should select it?
No. Generally, by default, it connects to Mumbai data center. Let's say if you don't want to create in Mumbai, let's say you want to create in another region. Let's say you want to create the EC2 machines in the Singapore region. You can switch the region and you can create instances in another region. How to deal with multiple regions, we'll be seeing it in coming sessions. Okay, Navya? As of now, I recommend you to work on Mumbai region. Okay.
Okay.
because it is the nearest region, you will have better performance. Okay, Navya? Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Anything more, Navya? Clear about whatever we are learning in day-to-day classes?
Yes,
Thank you.
yes.
I think some of you are not part of WhatsApp groups. Okay. I am sending you one more group link. Participants who are not belonging to the WhatsApp group, I am sending you the WhatsApp group from the chat in the chat box. Pick up the WhatsApp group and join the WhatsApp group. Okay, in the chat box. If 19, this is 19 group. Okay. If that is also full, don't join duplicate groups, please. This is one more group. Any of the, if the first group is full, first try to do with the first group. If the first group is full, then you have just sent you one more group. Please join the second group also. Okay. So there are many people raising the hands. So I cannot speak to all the participants. I hope you know that. So let's have interaction. Nitin Chaudhary, how are you doing?
Yeah, good morning, sir. I'm fine. How are you?
I'm doing well. Yeah.
First of all, a big thanks for giving us valuable information regarding the AWS.
Thank you, Nitin. Thank you very much.
My query is that for encryption and decryption, which algo AWS used?
Sorry?
For encryption and decryption,
okay,
which algo is used by AWS?
The algorithms it uses. Okay. So different, they have their own custom algorithms. They're not depending on standard algorithms. Within for higher security, they are providing their own custom algorithms. But we can have our own security settings. We'll be discussing more about that when we learn about the service called as VPC. Okay, Nitin? Okay. Anything more about this session?
It's very good. Yeah, it's very good and important.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Nitin. Thank you for your time. So let's have one more interaction before ending. Okay. Let's have one more interaction. Santosh Natarajan. Good morning, Santosh. Your question, please. Can you hear me, Santosh? You have to unmute and talk. Yes. Santosh, we can. Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Santosh. How are you?
I'm fine, Sunil. How are you?
Doing well, Santosh. How is today's session?
Yeah, it's really impressive, Sunil. Thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you, Santosh. May I know your location and your experience?
I'm currently located at Bangalore. I have 8+ experience in security.
Okay.
I mean the product security, like working on firewalls.
Okay, so you know AWS, or is the first time you're learning AWS?
I have a couple of trainings earlier, but not this kind of extended web-based trainings. I had watched some YouTube videos kind of thing.
Okay. Okay. Yes, your question.
Yeah, my question is simple. So whenever we do create a Linux machine, so we just specified the HDD size. So
we have specified, sorry?
The hard disk size that
yes, you are right. Yes, you are
8
right.
GB.
8 GB.
So is it possible to extend it up to some extent? We have some limitations for free tier, or
yes.
how it is?
As per the free tier limitation documentations, whenever you're selecting a Linux operating system, they provide you 8 GB. AWS provides you 8 GB.
Okay.
Let's say you don't want 8 GB, you want some 20 GB or 25 GB. At the time of creating the Linux machine, there's an option of changing the volume. Okay, so let's say instead of 8 GB, you can increase. Let's say you don't want 8 GB, you can go for 15 GB. Then you have to pay for that additional GB which you're consuming. Okay, 8 GB till 8 GB it is free of cost, and you have to pay for the remaining 7 GB which you have added. Okay, so that does not belongs to free tier. Okay, Santosh.
Okay, so it means that whatever the HDD size they are providing for a free tier, so after that it is free of cost. For example, if you're adding 1 GB also, for that 1 GB you have to pay.
Yes, you have to pay.
Okay. And one more question. So so we have created a Linux version. So by default, will there be how many partitions? Will there be only one partition? Kind of root partition
As
only,
of now default there will be only one partitions. When you can connect and you can change it accordingly. Okay, you can create one more partition.
Okay. I can take it from the LVM and then we can
exactly
do it,
you're right. Okay,
Santosh.
Thank you,
Sanil.
okay, thank you very much. Thank you for joining. How do you got to know about this training?
From one of my friends. So
okay,
I got
thank you, Santosh. Okay,
thank
you, and stay tuned for rest of the sessions to get the best of the training. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so tomorrow there is no session on account of festival. Tomorrow is a festival here, so there is no session tomorrow, Friday, and we will not have sessions on Saturday and Sunday also. Okay, so the next session is on Monday. So what's a plan for Monday session? In Monday session, we are experiencing a very important concept called load balancer. We are experiencing one more concept called load balancer. That's our plan for Monday session. If you want to be comfortable on Monday session, you have to practice today's session, because load balancer will use this today's session concept. When the traffic increases, the website goes down. You have seen it, right? Because suddenly when the traffic increases, there will be downtime of the servers. Okay, so how to avoid downtime? The concept of cloud is nothing, but there should not be downtime of servers, isn't it? So that can be handled by using the concept of load balancer. So that's very, very important concept. So have a nice weekend. Have a happy Vinayak Chavithi festival, and see you on Monday, where we'll be experiencing an interesting concept called as load balancer. Okay, thank you very much. Bye, everybody.